Alright, we're back for another Dokkan Battle video, and in today's video we are going to be going over some of the content that we're going to be getting for Part 2 of 9th Year Anniversary, because of course, we did just have the data download that revealed a lot of the content we're going to be getting, when we're going to be getting it, and all that stuff. So, again, it's exactly what we're going to be going over in this video, what we're going to be getting and when we're going to be getting this content for Part 2. So anyway, just to start off, we've got the Awakening for the Physical Beerus right here. Of course, he is going to be an LR now. And then we have the Awakening for the Int First Form Frieza. Obviously, now he's a TUR. I'm not going to go over their kits because they still get an EZA. So their kits right now don't really matter because within a week or two, it's going to change again and get better. So if you want to read their full EZA kits, I did make a video on that a couple days ago. I'll leave a link to that on the screen. But tonight, we are going to be getting their Awakenings for the Beerus into an LR and then for the Frieza into a TUR. Like I said, they still have their EZA, so of course right now they're really not going to be that crazy because they still have all those buffs they're going to get with the EZA. And even when they're both EZA'd, they're not insane, so right now especially they're not going to be that good. But it's still worth grinding them up because of course to EZA them you have to have them fully awakened, fully leveled up, all that. So definitely make sure you're doing these things. Just keep in mind they're not going to be insane once you awaken them. You still got to get the EZA with them for them to really start to be impressive. But again, we get both of them tonight, so that's something to look forward to. At least it gives you something to do. Next up, we got the EZA for the free-to-play Gogeta. I actually haven't read this guy's kit when he's EZA'd, so we can go ahead and go over this really quick. His super attack effect is that he greatly raises attack and defense for one turn, supreme damage, raises chance of evading enemies' attack by 19% for one turn. Okay, that's pretty good. Initially, I think it was just 9%. Chance to evade enemies' attack, but now it's 19%, so of course that's going to be very valuable. Just a little bit of dodge in his super attack effect, you can't really go wrong with that. And then the 50% to stats as well, it's another good thing. And then his passive, he gets 99% to stats start of turn, an additional 19% to stats per key sphere obtained, plus an additional 9% to stats when attacking per key sphere obtained if there's another superheroes or movie bosses category ally in the same turn. Okay, yeah, so with all that, most of the time you're going to be running him with a superheroes or movie heroes category ally. So between good stats, dodge, and a lot of stats per key sphere obtained, I mean, that's not bad, man. That's not bad. Then he gets attacks effective against all types of 5 key spheres and a guaranteed crit with 9. Okay. Okay, so of course he's a free-to-play unit, so you can't really expect a whole lot. But for a login unit, this is pretty decent, man. Like, he's actually somewhat viable in some content, like maybe an Infinite History, Boss Rush, definitely Dokkan events, you know, maybe even some difficult events where he's got type advantage. He could put in a little bit of work. So comparing him to a lot of the other login units, he's looking decent. I definitely like this guy. So pretty big W with him. Make sure you grind him up, you know, get him all ready, because of course his EZA is dropping tonight as well. Actually, I think this is dropping tonight at daily login. So this is going to be a little earlier, his EZA, compared to the Awakenings for the other free-to-play units. But regardless, next up, we have some of these sub-EZAs. We've got Broly and Paragus. From what I remember, they're, like, insane. So their super attack effect, okay, yeah, they're stacking defense. They cause supreme damage to enemy, lower attack. Their passive is that they get 150% to stats, a high chance to launch an additional super attack on super. They get 26% damage reduction within the same turn of every super attack performed. And then Pure Sands or Joined Forces category allies get 3 key and 50% to stats. And then they get 3 key and 180% to attack and a high chance to launch an additional super when there's a Pure Sands or Superheroes category enemy. Wow. That, a ton of additionals, and that, and this. Those are pretty crazy things to have. When you're supporting Pure Sands, and you've got damage reduction, and you're stacking, and you've got a ton of additionals, so you're going to be stacking up relatively quickly. I don't know, man. I'd say that's a recipe for success. Yeah, this guy's pretty good. This guy is pretty damn good. Now, of course, 2 teams. Now, that sucks, right? That definitely does suck. I feel like he could be on other teams. I don't know. What would some other categories he would be on be like? I guess, I don't know. I can't think of any other on the top of my head. But I swear, you could make them on other teams. Oh, yeah, movie bosses. Super bosses. What's up with that? Are we saying Paragus wasn't an antagonist in Dragon Ball Super Broly? I mean, I guess he kind of sort of turned good. Not really turned good. Frieza just killed him. But yeah, this unit absolutely should be on movie bosses or super bosses, but whatever. Okay. So other than the lack of categories, this guy is still overall a great unit. The support, the damage reduction, and the stacking make him very viable defensively. And then next up, we've got the Bardock and Gine. So their super attack effect, they massively raise attack and defense for 1 turn. That's a good super attack effect. Supreme damage, and then they raise allies' attack and defense by 22% for 2 turns. So also, nice little support going on there. So definitely pretty good. I would say just with that super attack effect, you're going to want to give them some additionals. So if you're still building them in the hidden potential system or whatever, definitely make sure you give them just a little bit, because if you're getting multiple supers with them, not only are you supporting, but you're getting 100% to stats for this actual unit themselves. So of course that's going to be very good. They're passive, they get 122% to stats. Yeah, they recover 22% HP when HP is 50% or less at the start of turn once only. They get 4 ki, an additional 122% to stats when there's an ally whose name includes Goku, Captain Ginyu Jr., etc. excluded on the team. And then he gets an additional 122% to stats when attacking if there's another bond of parent and child category ally in the same turn. And then he gets an additional 122% to stats when there's a movie bosses category enemy. And then an additional 4 ki and 122% to attack and performs a critical hit when there's an enemy whose name includes Frieza. Okay, yeah, no, this guy isn't really that good. I thought maybe this was promising with a good super attack effect, but no guard, no damage reduction, no dodge, no support. Not a big fan of him, honestly. His stats can get reasonably high, don't get me wrong, especially his attack. If you've got these activated, and then you've got this, and then this, and then this, yeah, they could probably do some pretty solid damage, but I think their defense might struggle just a little. They would have really benefited from, like, I don't know, guaranteed guard if there's another Goku on the rotation or something like that. Because right now, from the looks of it at least, defensively they're going to struggle a bit. They also have this active skill, removes all allies' status effects and raises all allies' attack by 22% for 2 turns. And you can get it when HP is 80% or less, starting from the 4th turn from start of battle. Not the greatest condition, but not really difficult either. Overall, a decent EZA. I would say Paragus and Broly are much better, but they're still somewhat solid, and you might be able to get some use out of them if, I don't know, they've got type advantage in a difficult event or something like that. But anyway, moving on to the real hype EZA units. We got Broly, Cheelai, and Lemo, and then the blue Goku and Vegeta. Now, the good news is Broly, Cheelai, and Lemo are going to be releasing tonight, so at Daily Reset, which is at like 2 a.m. for me. I'm in Eastern Standard Time, though. That could be different for you guys. They're going to be getting their EZA. They're very good. They were worth the wait. I kind of thought we were going to get them a couple days earlier, but doesn't matter. They're a great option for some extreme class teams, even though they're not on that many teams. But still, if you can find a way to make them work with some other extreme class units, they're going to be great. They have big bad bosses. Also, they're a support for all types, so that's very valuable. And they're just a good unit. So a good extreme class unit like this is few and far between. So you really want to capitalize on a release like this by, well, you know, getting them or EZAing them, whatever. And then next, we've got Blue Goku and Vegeta. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little for them. They drop the 22nd at reset. So give it a few days. Just patiently wait, and then we'll be able to get them. They're a lot crazier, I think. More specifically because they're on more teams and more top-tier teams. Also, yeah, just look at this list of teams right here. Yeah, that's obviously very good. But because they fit on, like, superheroes and stuff like that, where a lot of the top-tier units are right now, they just work so well, and they're just a great unit to have. So definitely make sure you get them awakened, make sure you level up their super attack, whatever you got to do, just get them ready for their EZA because they're coming in hot, man. They are very crazy. So we'll go ahead and go over both of their kits right now. The Broly, Cheelai, and Lemo, their 12 key is that they greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, cause colossal damage to enemy, greatly lowers attack. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, 50% the stats, you can't really go wrong with that, especially because they're 18 key. Now they're getting 100% the stats and then mega colossal damage. So amazing super attack effects. This specifically is going to get you very far. I mean, when you're massively raising stats, that's like doubling your stats from start of turn. And then they've got this going on as well. So really good super attack effects. Their passive is that they get 30% the stats per key sphere obtained, an additional 10% the stats per physical key sphere obtained, and then an additional 2 key per key sphere obtained. And then they support all allies for 2 key and 39% attack with an AGL or an STR key sphere. And then they support all allies for 2 key and 39% defense with a tech or an int key sphere obtained. And then they give all allies 2 key and then 15% the stats with a rainbow key sphere obtained. they get an additional 39% attack on super. They launch an additional super attack, and movie bosses or super bosses category allies get 10% damage reduction when ki is 24. So when I said they were a good extreme class buff, I mean, they really are for like movie bosses and super bosses, because now they're supporting those units not only with this here, but then 10% damage reduction. I would say that's pretty busted. So yeah, a great support unit there, mainly for movie bosses and super bosses, but still, usually you're going to be running this guy next to a lot of those units, so it's not like that's that big of a deal. This guy also gets a high chance to dodge, just right off the bat. Obviously, that's valuable. And then he gets guaranteed dodge with 7 or more key spheres obtained. And then he randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, physical excluded, 2 physical key spheres when HP is 60% or less. And then he changes all key spheres to physical key spheres when HP is 39% or less, once only. So yeah, that's Bardock, Cheelai, and Lemo. They're really good, man. They are very, very valuable. Like I said, a crazy good support unit. And for specifically movie bosses and super bosses, they're going to be extremely valuable. So if you pull the new LR Broly, this is a great unit to run alongside him. I'm pretty sure they're going to link reasonably well. And then also, this guy's obviously supporting him. Can we see how good he links with him? Oh, he's not even in this list of characters. Okay, so he's going to share probably like 4 or 3 links with him. The new LR Broly and then the Broly, Cheelai, and Lemo. But this guy's supporting him, so it kind of makes up for that a little. Anyway, moving on to the Blue Kaioken Goku and the Evolution Blue Vegeta. Their 12 key is that they greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, lowers attack and defense. And then their 18 key, massively raising attack and defense for 1 turn, Mega Colossal, and then greatly lowers attack and defense. So, same thing with the Broly, Cheelai, and Lemo. 50% on 12 key, 100% on 18 key. Obviously, that's very good, so I got nothing to complain about here. Their passive is that they get 4 key, 170% the stats. They randomly change key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres when there's another superheroes category ally on the team. They get an additional 2 key per rainbow key sphere obtained, and then an additional 7% the stats per key sphere obtained. They get a chance of performing a critical hit plus 7% and 7% damage reduction, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super, up to 3 additionals within a turn. And then, yeah, well, they get that per rainbow key sphere obtained. So for every rainbow key sphere, you're getting 7% crit chance, 7% damage reduction, and then an additional that has a high chance of becoming a super. But once you go past 3 rainbow key spheres, you stop getting additionals. You could still get more damage reduction. So if you get like 5 rainbow key spheres, what's 5 times 7? Is that like 35? You still get 35% damage reduction, but you don't get 5 additionals that have a high chance of becoming a super. So hopefully that makes sense, but you're not going to be getting a ton of additionals because it specifies you can only get up to 3, which I think is pretty balanced, because if they were getting like 5 additionals, I mean, dude, yeah, that'd be pretty busted. So I think they balance this pretty well. You know, it's pretty fair. And then they also get 70% the stats if ki is 18 or more. They get an additional 70% damage reduction when HP is 50% or less once only, and then performs a guaranteed crit when ki is 24. So, this is really valuable because their active skill, they actually lose 50% defense, and you have to get this when HP is 50% or less. So when you're below 50% HP, you don't want a defense debuff. You want to get better or heal or something like that. However, you're getting a ton of attacks, so you're going to be able to do a lot of extra damage on the turn of this active skill. And as long as everything goes according to plan, you're going to get this 70% damage reduction, because the condition behind the damage reduction is to be below 50% HP. You'll never guess what the condition for the active skill is, to be below 50% HP. So, in theory, you should be getting the damage reduction on the turn where you're going to be getting the active skill. And then, of course, that's going to cover you a little bit because, yeah, you lost 50% defense, but you gained 70% damage reduction. So it makes you a little bit better in terms of your defense. And then his damage obviously gets crazy during the turn because of this right here. So they're crazy. I love them. They're one of my favorite units in the game to run. I got them on JP EZA. I use them all the time, I'm telling you. I mean, they're great to run with like UI Goku, Beast Gohan, just on the superheroes team, really, which is so crazy right now. So a unit like this is just great. Again, make sure you get him awakened. Make sure you get him ready for his EZA. Same thing with Bardock, Cheelai, and Lemo, because they are both very good. So anyway, I guess that pretty much has been the video. There's a couple other things we're going to be getting, like this new Super Battle Road stage, a new couple stages to some of these events we already have, but none of that's crazy important. I wanted to go over the main things that we know for a fact are coming our way, like the 2 new LR EZAs, some of the sub EZAs, and then the free-to-play units, stuff like that. So, let me know what you're looking forward to most from Part 2 of 9th Year Anniversary, other than Beast Gohan's banner, because I know a lot of you are probably going to say that. But anyway, that's been the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one.